I wanted to talk about today. Um, I got a call yesterday from a seller. They've been listed with another broker for a year, and his complaint was that the broker was great and wonderful, but when he got sick, he kind of took his eye off the ball. And as we were interviewing, they told me about the listing, and the listing was around $900,000. So when I got the financials, I was like, "All right, I need to understand why you're at 900 because you're only making like 200." So the broker had included um, the accounts receivable. It's a vocational school, and the school finances the schooling, um, some of it. So the seller said, "Hey, I just want to include that." Now the net effect of that was that that commission went up by my calculation by over $400,000, so about a $40,000 rate. The business worth five, financing at nine. Nobody could get the deal done. Nobody could finance the deal with SBA at that level. So the business didn't sell. So the seller said, "Yeah, I just don't want to be collecting money." And I said, "Well, you priced yourself out of the ability to finance." Now I know the broker. The broker's been around a long period of time. I can't for the life of me understand why they did that um, relative to what the market's doing on a financing standpoint. So was it greed? Yeah, I know the broker. They've been in the business just about as long as I have. They're pretty good. They tend to be going upstream. Um, that's at least what the broker has told the seller, a couple sellers. They don't want to deal with little businesses. So do less work for more money. So the way to, I hate to use this term, but to milk the seller was to raise the deal to a point where the commission would justify the work involved. Um, Not cool. Not cool in my mind. Because now we're a year later, the seller hasn't sold and she's miserable, or he's miserable rather. Um, and you need to price it to the market because it's not going to sell. Once it gets up over 300,000, most of the time people require bank financing. Um, and if it's not a traditional loan, the banks are nervous, and the banks are nervous because of the macroeconomic scenarios that are going on. So that was my first topic du jour. And then I went down yesterday. I don't know why, but I popped onto Reddit because Reddit does SEO work a little bit. I started answering some questions, and I made a comment about the books and records issue you always hear me talk about. And holy shit, it opened up a can of worms where these people were bitching about the boomers and their lack of books and records. And I kind of laid out, hey, they don't know any better. Hey, there's not been a great deal of education about the importance of it. Hey, they've been largely ignored by financial professionals. CPAs have done a crappy job with regard to educating. They've also not listened. There's a lot. Most of this is their fault. They're not listening, and that's the DNA of entrepreneurs in the boomer generation. Um, but as a consequence of that, these people were rapidly bitching about how hard it is to buy businesses because they can't secure financing. Because remember, the average American has less than 20 grand saved. The younger you are, the less you have because now you got college debt. So there's a ripple effect when you're given all these data points online. Most people just blow it off and don't really listen. Yeah, but there's a ripple effect to all types of transactions, and we would be wise to improve our education to make people a little bit smarter about how macroeconomics work and maybe a little bit less fuzzy wuzzy was a bear type crap in high school. And hell, I don't want to get me going on college. The other topic was um, being in the 20%. I've got some oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. How slow people move to get things done. Time is a factor when we do these things. Things move very, very quick. Um, I've seen banks turn on a dime. I'm sitting on waiting on three sets of people to get me their paperwork so I could take the business to market. I'm ready. And you watch, come Friday, they're all going to send me their shit all at once. And they're going to be on my back by Monday to have it all done at once. I'll get it done, but I've been sitting around for 2 days waiting for people to get me their paperwork. Um, and since the last time I gave you an inventory count, the inventory count's up 60. So the inventory's starting to rise. Come the end of the month, we'll have some sales and it will drop again. So it'll hover around the 200 and the 2000 mark. Um, but these sellers are taking a long period of time and they're asking lots of questions of lots of other advisors, most of which don't have any experience. Um, the very people who should have advised you to get good, clean books and records to get your stuff together in order to sell. Those are the people that, you know, those are the people you're seeking advice from. Have a great day, everybody. I got to go pick up my kid.